Previously on the Reckoning series, new pro team Houston Heat was experiencing almost immediate success, finishing in second place at the Galveston Island Open and first place at the Phoenix Open only days later. However, Houston Heat's successful run ended abruptly at the Chicago Open when they fell to Tampa Bay Damage in the quarterfinals, 6-5.
Going into MAO, we'd performed, I wouldn't say terribly, but we didn't do as well as we should have in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago was just bad for us. Worst finish we had, but I don't think we really played that terrible. It's just we made mistakes and finally people were capitalizing on them. You will meet teams that will capitalize on them, and that Sunday, Damage did.
We ended up finishing fifth. We lost our first game and only game Sunday morning at Tampa Bay Damage by 1.
I think some of it is in our own heads, knowing that they're a top quality team. I think sometimes we make ourselves our own enemies. I think obviously Chicago was a wake up call.
It was very humbling. We came off of Galveston and Phoenix, riding the high horse. I wouldn't say we're overconfident. I mean, we practiced even harder for Chicago. We made a few mistakes, and we just couldn't dig back in the quarterfinals against Damage.
So heading into the prelims at MAO, we had Thunder and CEP. Going into the Thunder match, it started to pour. It was really wet.
Just started pouring in the morning, drenched, soaking wet paintball.
I mean, I hate playing in the rain. It's my worst enemy. You got to take bunkers a little bit more differently. Dive earlier, and I think that was one thing for me that was a little bit difficult.
I had a nice little hat from Bass Pro Shop with a nice bandana on the back and a nice brim all around. It was looking good.
Things cleared up after that match. We played CEP and we beat them pretty well.
Going to play any pro team, you got to respect them, obviously. CP's a great team. They're great on the break. I think the breakdown is their communication and after the breakout,
Rightfully, we should win those games as we did and came in to the next day 2-0. Going into the infamous game, we kind of knew that game was one of the bigger games. It was looking like whoever won that match was going 4-0 and straight into top 4. And you never want to have to play that extra game, you know? And just don't want to lose to those guys. Mainly, you know, a lot of our guys are Chicago guys. Those Chicago guys played on shock with some of them.
I think there's a rivalry with Infamous. I think because we know a lot of those guys. You know, we're friends off the field. Some of us aren't. But, you know, there's a big grudge there.
You don't want to lose to your friends, and some of them like to talk, man. You just don't want to lose to guys like that, man. I love those guys, but, you know, in the back of your mind, there's always a thing going on. I don't want to lose to you, dude. And, you know, they beat us. At the point when it was 3-1 and we called the timeout, you know, again, Jay commands everything that we do. He doesn't allow yelling and people getting irate. If this guy messed up, he's going to hear it from Jason, not the guy standing next to him on the field, because if you're worrying about him, you're not worrying about your job.
We all know that if we start yelling and screaming and bitching this, bitching that at each other, it's going to make things worse.
They were up by 1. We had to tie it. There's only maybe a minute left, and it looked like we were going to do it. I see Ronnie and their snake, and our guys come down the Doritos. I come down the middle with the flag.
At that point, it was like 3 of us, and I'm trying to kind of go really quick. I shot Nicky Cuba, and I just tried to jump another bump, and kind of moving, and he got me in the shoulder. I was, oh my god, I missed another guy. I'm not recognizing I have 2 players in one bunker.
Damian Ryan, him being him, he does what he does best in those clutch situations.
I don't know how, but he wrapped around, shoots me. Look over, he shoots Ronnie right that second, wraps around, shoots our last guy, and knowing that there was only a few seconds left, everybody just kind of lost their heads and just tried to do their own thing to try and save the day, and try to save the day for yourself, and you lost it for everyone.
I mean, that's just teamwork right there. We didn't figure out that he was the last body left. We were just running down the field, so we didn't close it out in time. Yeah, I think that was definitely our fuck up.
That was just ridiculous. It shouldn't have happened, and we should have tied it up and gone to overtime, but it was almost kind of embarrassing.
I think the infamous game was like, hey, get your act together, or, you know, you're not even going to make it out of the prelims.
We got a fucking bunker, we kept 3 alive, that's it. Japan and flop. Fucking D1 right now.
Let's get in here, guys, bring it in.
The end result of the match didn't end up, but what needed to get fixed as a team to head on, you know, the rest of the tournament really did get fixed.
We were super pissed after our game against Infamous, and our backs were pretty much against the wall. We had to win the next game against Vicious.
Coming from Phoenix, losing to Vicious, and, you know, that close game we had with them, I think we knew that if they dictated the pace of the game, that we, you know, it would be harder on us.
You know, we do have to win this match against Vicious. 2-2 is not good enough. We knew what we had to fix. We started to do it in the Infamous game. It was just putting all that into motion for the rest of the tournament.
You know what, after losing that game against Infamous, we were thinking, you know, okay, well, last event we didn't do so well, this isn't happening again. We got ready for the next match, and there was a new kind of air about everybody. Everyone was more focused, more calculated in everything we did, and I think Jason had some of the best game plans he's ever had, because we were, you know, backs against the wall, we needed to win.
You got a penalty, and that kind of really deflated Vicious. You can just see it in the body language, like, oh, you know what I mean? That was kind of like a nail in the coffin. We're like, oh, great, we got a penalty. It was a major, so they were in the box for 2 minutes.
The Vicious game wasn't You know, wasn't the greatest match probably to watch. You know, they got a lot of penalties.
They kind of self-destruct a little bit. You kind of see it in their heads and the way they were playing that they were kind of down and out.
Seemed to us like we definitely put back together what we should have been doing earlier, and really got a good head start on going into Sunday.
That put us at 3-1. Say Infamous was 4-0, so that gave them the bye, and then we went on to Sunday, set us up against the Russian Legion.
Going into the quarterfinals, having to play the Russians, you know, you definitely have to play perfect against them.
We've had Russian Legion number all year. We actually took 3 of their players from to start this season to play with us, and from the beginning we've always wanted to beat them. I mean, they're a really great team, but having those guys on our team and knowing how much they want to beat them just brings everyone else to another level.
Going into the Russian Legion game, our Russian players, they get so amped up to play them.
I mean, I see it in Fedorov and Mishka and Sergey's heads, and I can see in their eyes that when we're warming up, they're more focused when we play the Russians than any other person on our team. Like, you can see it in Fedorov's eyes. He's quiet. He's completely quiet. He's not the same playing every other team because he knows that, you know, if he loses this game, it's going to be heart-wrenching, you know? Like, that's a big loss to him.
Russian Legion, alright, this is more important for me because that's my team in the past. Right now we build a new team, and every single game, if I jump into the court, I'm gonna fight.
This state of grace that we have found, you pull me up, you break me down. This state of grace exists between us.
It's really back and forth to begin with. I don't think anyone really takes a lead. They go up, we go up, we go up, they come back and they tie it. The thing that kind of went in our favor was they got a major penalty.
They are a very good team, but I really felt that layout for that team was hard, and it played into our hand very well. I think it showed. I mean, we really had depth in areas where they were struggling. You know, it was hard for them.
Clavicle to clavicle, skin against my skin. This state of grace that we have found, you pull me up, you break me down. This state of grace exists between us. All the hollow spaces, my head and neck and chest and childhood home are ringing out in sympathy for all the things that I still haven't done. Go down with you. This state of grace that we have found, you pull me up, you break me down. This state of grace.
You know, some teams, when it's 4-3, or some people's mindsets are, hey, you know, wait the clock out and let's just win the match. Why not just go out there and win the point instead of playing not to lose?
With a minute left, you know, it's the Russians are going to come. The one guy that was struggling for the Russians was out there, and it was Axel. And he would go that small cake almost every time. We would have Chad mirrored up with him, and we would just tell Chad, like, shoot him for 1 second, stop, and we'll bait him in, and he'll start shooting at me, and I'll shoot him every time when he goes to wrap.
The Russians did that. Unfortunately, it was a little too late, and we held them off and got the victory. But definitely good effort by them.
We beat the Russians in the quarterfinals, held them off 4-3. It was a big win, you know. They were playing hot all event. Oh yeah, there's always a big weight lifted off their shoulders after we beat them, you know. Who would want to lose to a team? They just left.
For them to beat the Russians, it's validating. Why did I leave this team that I've won with so much, that I've, you know, this is where I've come from, you know.
It means the world to them to beat those guys because they walk away from them, and that's a really hard thing to do.
These guys come here, and Sergey barely can talk to us. I mean, like, how weird must that be to leave home and then come here, stay here for a few weeks, and, you know, you go back, you still have friends on your other team, you know. You don't want to lose.
You never see those guys more happy than when we beat the Russians. MAO has been 3 times in a row. Just their faces, you know, they're ecstatic.
Right now it's always gonna be a fight between us and Legion. If we play versus Legion, it's totally different story.
Next game was semis versus Damage.
To be honest, I was a little shaky going to that game. They've had our number all season. They beat us and they knocked us out of Chicago.
Up to MAO, they'd beaten us 3 times already.
Going into the Damage game, it's, you know, you can tell everybody's anxious, but we just hadn't beat them yet. We just couldn't crack that code, and you don't want to lose to the same team over and over, and you just have this kryptonite and you don't know why.
We owed those guys. We needed to beat those guys, and you know they weren't going to kick us out of another finals game.
Doesn't matter who it is down there. Doesn't matter if it's Tampa Damage. Doesn't matter. Could be anybody. Just play mistake-free paintball. Don't make mistakes. Play smart. Play consistent. That's how we're gonna win this event, and that's what I think we ultimately did. Didn't make that many mistakes, and I think the only kind of mistakes we made is towards the end when they were coming down the field, when they were pressing. We decided, okay, well, let's just get complacent and sit back and, you know, try and roll our guns and hold. And we play way better paintball when we were attacking and pressing down the field, and we didn't do that in the last 2 points. When they pressed, I mean, they were beating us. The last point, I remember holidays. I'm right now, next thing you know, like all my half my team's dead, and I'm in like this tower with there's either Sergey or Mishka.
It was Mishka, me, Sergey. I am holding the X because I saw Jason as walking in the middle, and Mishka called me, guys, take right. That's when I switched and like tried to call there or something like that, but then he just like walked away and just, alright, it's time running out, we won the game.
At least in silence. We dare to dream, at least in silence.
We shot them. Chad George made a great move down the snake side, took out a couple people, and didn't even have to hang the flag, and we won that game.
Winning that match meant a lot. Just going, finally, there's not a team that we can't beat, you know? You don't want to have that one team that you, like, every time you play them, okay, these guys again, you know?
Yeah, we finally beat Damage in a meaningful game. I honestly feel like we were unstoppable after beating them. We were going to win the event, you know. I think we all knew it, but we knew we had to go into the finals, you know.
Боялся, что все не настроятся на все 100%. Sergey just afraid and everybody just tired because we already play with the 2 top teams in the league. He's just afraid and not everybody can kind of concentrate on 150%.
After beating Damage and the Russians, like that alone, that's a gauntlet. You know, it was our podium teams. We had to take the tough road, but it was Infamous didn't have to do that. You know, they didn't have anything to really gauge how well they were playing off of.
Watching everyone's faces as we warmed up, there was no doubt in my mind we were going to win it no matter what. I could see it in my teammates' eyes. I can just tell in the way everyone carried themselves. You could just feel it.
Going into it, you know, they beat us the first match, but you know, that's prelims. It doesn't matter to us. But yeah, we had lost to them, but we had seen, I think, you know, we saw their haymakers. We saw their game plan. We were ready for it.
It's like you don't go through a Sunday, beat those two teams, and then end up losing to Infamous in the finals. Sorry, that's just not the way it works.
We saw every angle of that field, and it really showed those in the Infamous match. We weren't guessing what we were supposed to do. It was, we knew what to do.
Again, I'm really proud of my guys on my team. No one got any penalties. We capitalized on their penalties. I think Damien got one in the second or third point. They'd scored the first point, and we came back and I think scored three points.
Eventually it came down to a really long point with me and Sergey. Bobby came into our snake. Greg is in the 50 Dorito, you know. Eventually they shoot Fedorov and it's just me and Sergey, and obviously that's a task in itself, just trying to communicate back and forth with him.
Yeah, Sergey's a tall dude. He can play smaller than me sometimes. I've seen him get so small in those tall towers. He just sucks up into the bunker. He becomes one with it, you know.
No muscles. He actually said he doesn't have a spine, so that's how it's like more kind of snake. But the real thing, he said if he doesn't make this happen, we kill him, so that's why he do it.
I had shot Bobby in the shoulder, and then he dropped down, because he calls him, if you look, he calls himself out, drops back down, and then Sergey shoots him in the face through the gap. From my aspect, I just saw the ball hit him in the shoulder, and I was already wrapping around to make sure Greg didn't come down, because I was just like, if he shoots me and I know that ball hit him, I was like, that's fine with me. Hopefully these reps can do their jobs. Eventually Greg did, and you know, I just went to exchange, get him off the field, and hopefully, you know, Sergey should still be staying there alive, and I shot Greg. Greg shoots me. He decided to continue and shoot Sergey, and you know, got them the penalty. And
Да вы там чпок, ну я вроде бы вышел, он попал в локоть, он kind of go around it. Maybe Sam, come on, shot him, and he shot him with his elbow, and he shot him back like a couple times. All right, what's going on?
That was going to lead up to the final point of the match. There was about a minute and a half left with that minor on the board.
So we knew we basically had to get to our spots and just shoot paint.
As long as we execute, this is ours.
They said Greg was in the box. They sent Zach to the snake on the break. Damien went to the X.
I see Bobby coming up into the pins. I shoot him, he puts his gun down, calls himself out, and picks his gun back up and shoots me. There's like 5 seconds left. Greg Sewage grabbed the flag and didn't make it to the box in time.
Yeah! Everyone played ridiculously well. Everyone stepped up when they got out there and played. And in the end, the good guys went out. Beating Infamous, beating my, the friends I grew up playing paintball with in the finals. That's just an amazing feeling.
Yeah, I think that we proved to everybody out there in the paintball world that we were the best team. Beating all those teams in a row, literally the top 3-4 teams, just like in a row in one day, and winning a tournament. That's just like proving to everybody that we're the best.
Those brief moments that you get to live, and like those extreme moments of glee with your teammates and your friends and your extended family in the paintball world. And those are the moments that I've tried to appreciate more now that I've won some events, and just try to go back and live with those. And it's funny to be talking about all this before the last event has even happened.
After beating the Russians, then Damage, then Infamous, those are the 3 premier teams right there, and we beat them in a row. We can do that in one day. We can do something here. World Cup could be ours.
World Cup! We World Cup! We World Cup! What is it, one family or one team?
One team, one family?
Yeah, one team, one family.
Yeah, that's what it is.
1 point at a time.
What do you think about? Let me tell you something. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
World Cup, here we come, baby.
That's right.
Locked and loaded.
Locked and loaded. Ain't
Ciao.
coming down. Staying on top.
After winning their second event in their inaugural season, Heat enters their first World Cup as a team, ranked #1 in the world.
No comment.
I'm Nick Slovak, half shock. Hey Nick, what are you doing down there?
Oh, just, hanging out on your audience. We was weird to be so small. Have a big head with some big sunglasses.
Yeah, you do look weird.
Yeah, well, thanks for the new one.
Thursday night, World Cup. We are in Orlando at our house. Went to the field today. We watched games, scouted them because we had the day off. The weather was good in the morning, and then slowly as the day progressed, it got worse and worse to like a monsoon towards the Dynasty X Factor game, I believe. It's kind of an advantage, at the same time a disadvantage to get the day off, because if you get the day off, yeah, you get to scout the teams, but at the same time those teams got to play and got to warm up and get to play and shoot their guns on the field, get a feel of actually how the field plays out. We play CEP our first game tomorrow.
We know we play CEP and Impact tomorrow. We saw them play sloppy paintball, but we know that they're gonna clean it up and tighten it up for tomorrow. I think they're honestly a strong team. I think they should be doing better than they are. They just kind of choke.
When I was young, I was a single-celled amoeba. Then I learned how to go to war over ideas. Now I'm in the stripping Mother Earth of her resources, waiting for the day that today's considered prehistoric. Standing on my last limb, survived by a naked brush. This story was written in my genetic code. Standing on my last limb, survived by a naked brush. This story was written in my genetic code.
First day, we played CEP, won 7-0, but for us more it was figuring out lanes and seeing different angles on the field, getting used to the actual field at the event. Not like we're going to get that much out of a 7-0 game besides the stuff that we can do ourselves.
To the best of my ability, my body as my armor will protect my brain from bruising. Even though it secretes its poisonous power, I almost lose it. Vomit inducing, diluted in the blood, cause if I ever got a full blast, the rush would be too much.
The Impact game, that's my roommates. Previously was living with Montresor, now living with Moorhead. That's a big deal, for Chad George. That was the team he played with in MPPL. Those are some of his best friends and ex-teammates from Philly. And for J-Tro, used to coach those guys.
That's the game Jason wanted the most. I mean, he loves winning, but he just did not want to come to World Cup and lose against the guys that he has to go back home with and live next to.
Again, you don't want to lose to your friends. It's not that you're always going to be giving them a hard time for it, but it's just, you don't want them to be able to do it to you. And for Impact, that being their first PSP of that year, all those guys have played it. They're a great team. Those guys, they are pros. I think just with their not practicing for it as much, it did show.
One day we'll be holding hands instead of M16, till then every human being is controlled by the fight.
Good day on Friday. We beat CEP 7-0 and Impact 7-1.
Going into Saturday, we had to play X Factor, and that's who we practiced against before the event.
Those guys obviously playing for the title for the best team in Texas. With how the league is, they added 2 new teams, Excessive and Impact. Every single point counted, every single match counted, because they're taking the same amount of teams that they are, even if they were 10.
Both teams, we played it the same. Guys got in certain spots knowing to slow down this guy or shoot this way. We kind of played the same, and so you get these gridlock games that it's who makes the mistake. It's not, who's going to make this glorious move. It's really just who makes the mistake, who kind of slips and gets caught doing something they shouldn't.
People just sitting there waiting for a mistake to be made, waiting for somebody to run out of air, waiting for somebody to run out of paint. All the top contending teams really slowed down.
Really tough game, and I remember the game, I was in the snake corner and my gun was dead and I couldn't do anything. I just, alright, just kill the time, we need a couple of minutes. And we killed the time and we jumped in overtime.
Well, we went into overtime against X Factor. The score was 2-2. We break out, I get in the snake. We all make our primaries, we were 5 up, and it was the longest game I've ever played. 26 minutes.
These really long points and all of a sudden this 26-minute overtime that just would not go away. That, you know, I got shot early, so I'm over there just wanting it to end.
The feeling of my legs laying in the snake, all crouched up, popping up and down, one ball here and there, you know, trying to dig at least one person out, you know, help the team, was excruciating. I had leg cramps where I couldn't even sit up, posture up, nothing. It was me and Billy battling back and forth down the snake. But Billy found a way to come get me. Me and Billy traded. I was kind of relieved to be out of that snake, being all crouched down. I was, you know, pretty cramped up.
I was in the corner, Mishka was in the backside, and Sergey somewhere in the snake. I just said, oh my god, what's going on? And I hear Timon Treser, he was on the sideline coach, and he yelled, "Father up, you gotta do something!" I'm like, alright, 3 and 4, we gotta do something, right? I make the bump for the D1 or D2, and Grayson was on the snake, they battled with Sergey, and I told Sergey, stay alive, we need you on the snake. After like 15 minutes or something like that, Archie coming to me, but because he don't have air, I just throw my gun, like one shot and I kill him, or like, whatever, I gotta go! Yeah, and I go around, try to bunker Snake, and he stood up, and oh my god! Try to bunker Sergey, Sergey took his gun, shoots somewhere in the air, and Mishka and me just like, oh my god, we gotta die right now! And we finished this point, it was like really amazing point. I hate Snake.
It was definitely a good match for us to see what might come Sunday.
After edging out X Factor in the longest point in PSP history, Heat moves on to their final prelim game against Dynasty, a game in which Dynasty desperately needed to win with a point margin of at least 2. This game would play out very similar to the X Factor game, going to overtime with a score of 2-2.
Playing Dynasty in our last match in the prelims, it was a really close point margin at World Cup, so everyone was playing really slow, really calculated.
Follow steps alone at last. I learned to make a friend at night. Another glass till we cross paths, and on the surface we look right.
We made it 2-2 at the end there, and we went to overtime. It was a long, drawn-out point, like we just had with X Factor.
Those guys, when it comes to long points, they have it down. They're hard to dig out, just like we are. Oliver coming up the snake side, doing what he does best, breaks the game down.
I ended up getting to the snake 2, and Oliver made a really good move up the center. I got shot. He shot me, and he got shot, but we ended up losing that overtime point.
I think it kind of shows your weaknesses. Whenever you have a 25-minute overtime point and the game comes that close like X Factor, you go and you say, yeah, we did this right, we won that overtime point, we won that game. when you have a dynasty game, when you lose in a long overtime point, it's like, what did we do right there that we did wrong in the dynasty game? What's another way for a team to beat us like that so we can mend that gap and make us virtually unbeatable?
With 3 victories and a high point margin, Heat shakes off their overtime loss and advances directly to the semifinals on Sunday, where they will play the Ironmen for the first time this season.
We toss the shakes down. We came from this town, afraid to move around by the change you fear.
We hadn't played Ironman yet, and they were playing well. You know, Ironman played well all year.
They were playing well all tournament. We didn't play them at all season. So I mean, again, we came out not knowing what to expect. You know,
we really did have to that game go into and just completely execute and impose our will on them.
So now you only live once, no enemies. Building frames from the game is to join me.
The first point of the Ironman match, Spica comes down and bunkers Chad.
I shot inside for somebody moving down the Dorito side, and Spica knew it was his time to go. He started coming. He got me. I just laid there with my gun down because I knew, if I shot this dude, I was going to get a penalty.
He shoots Chad. He might. I don't care if I shot him before or after he shot Chad, but yeah, I did keep shooting him. Don't come and get my friend.
And Sam Monville behind me ripped him up as he's diving in front of me. Pretty much never pulled my trigger. I never shot my gun at all. And the ref seen about 20 hits on Spica's face, and there was no way that I didn't shoot him.
I guess the refs thought that Chad was shooting him and gave Chad a penalty. And
I just want to get up and just pretty much knock the ref over. Because it's the first point on Sunday. I don't want to lose this for my team, but I didn't deserve it, but there's nothing I can do.
I'll get Chatty and come back in the pits going, I didn't shoot him, but he just, took his lick for that and went, okay, I guess I gotta go in the box. As a team, we just did what we had to do to get him out. In the end, we did execute. We did exactly what we had practiced to do and executed all of it very well, and it was a good way to go into finals.
Look up, live
This is fate, this is destiny. I don't think we were more ready for that match than any other match.
This is huge, I guess. This is like the biggest moment of my entire life this far, and I hope I get to play.
The world is yours, the world is yours.
Every year that I've been at World Cup and actually played in pro, I've played for first and second. In the first 3, I took second, and I didn't want to have to lose a fourth. Losing 3 was already harsh enough. I didn't want to have to go through that again, man. Nobody wants to take second as the thing that you've worked your entire life for. Nobody wants to take second 4 times.
Right, and it can be yours too if you set your path right. I know life can be hard, but you were put here to win. Just refuse to quit when you're down and get back up again. Man, I used to write my music from my tiny bedroom, and though I dreamt of being free, I felt trapped like in a tomb. And even though the times are dark and I could barely even see through all the tears, I sit and pen, weave out my destiny.
First point of the damage match, it was long and it was a grind, and I did not like sitting there in the snake for that long. That was horrible. In my mind, it almost felt like they threw everything they had at us. We're gonna come back out this next one, and we're gonna bring that one right back. That was one of the matches that, I would say, in all the matches I've ever played, that I really felt comfortable the entire time.
You should be careful who you listen to, who watch all of the things you do.
Get a quick kill. We're slowing it down. We don't have to do anything too big. If we're up on bodies, we're gonna do it slow, and we made them concede.
Hold your head up, man, and keep on moving on. If I would've never struggled, then I would.
Fedorov was on fire. I've never seen Fedorov play that good at paintball. Me and LJ were grabbing each other like, oh my god, like he is on fire right now,
Sergey was shooting the wide guy and the short guy for damage. Like, how do you stop that?
Man, I see some rappers sold the souls, I won't be selling mine. No need to find a source when you're eating from the vine. You thought that I was done, but now I'm leaving you behind. Wouldn't say I deserve it, but I'm here to get what's mine. Live free, dream big, and see that the world
staring at the clock. I didn't even look at the game. I was just staring at the clock. And I was looking at LJ, and I was just whispering to him, there's no possible way they can score in this much time. There's no possible way they can come back in this much time. There's no way.
The very last point, we went out there and we had the lead, but it didn't really hit me until we were playing and I was counting the seconds off the clock to Sergey. I'm just counting the seconds down to him, and somewhere around the 20-second mark, like, it actually just finally snapped in my head. I was like, oh, like, there's no way they can score this many points in that amount of time.
And I look at Justin and we battle a little bit with him, like maybe 2 or 3 times, and he jumped on the right side of the X. And alright, this is my chance. I step inside and Jacob do the same thing and kind of start shooting, but I messed up with the paint and I miss it, and I just, alright, it's time. And Jacob just dropped his knee on. Oh, that feels like a win. And I just walk away.
I don't know what happened. I think I blacked out. I don't remember. In that pit, I remember screaming, yelling, you know. It was pure happiness.
The most validating feeling I've felt in my life. To be able to know that every hour I've spent, every dollar, and not going to school and doing things like that has been validated by winning the biggest thing there is to win in our sport. It all makes sense now, finally. Like the one thing that every kid that's ever played at like the tournament level wants, I've accomplished.
It hit me when I saw everyone's looks on their faces, I guess. It was like better than any tournament we won all season.
I never thought that I'd be on the same field in the same team with Konstantin Fedorov throwing his pack, or, you know, Mishka or Sergey, or, you know, any of these guys that I've looked up to coming up in the paintball career.
We're seeing the Russians like that, like, they usually don't get like that. They're usually pretty chill. So, I mean, that's when I realized how big of a deal it was.
It's my first year. It's my first pro year. I don't know if there's any better way to say that was the best rookie season anyone could ever have.
This is a team that it was built to do this, but to actually do it in the first season, it was a feeling that most will never feel, and I feel very lucky to ever experience it. After losing 3 and just keep on coming back and back and back and all the hours, it was worth it.
Just a rookie team with veteran players and rookie players, having that accomplishment with the time that we did it and the people that we did it with, it just makes it that much better.
Nothing to say, just we have to feel it. That was our year, and we're gonna keep fighting for every single tournament.
Houston Heat defeated the defending world champions in their first season as a team. They have since kept their roster intact and have been training hard to defend their title in 2013.
You remember you went to bunker a player in the snake and your pants came down.
Yes.
Tell me why that happened. What happened?
We came to bunker this guy and all his pants, he dropped his pants and no air to shoot, and then just comedy situation with that. This was real funny.
Whoa. We get it poppin'.
It was funny until you
just broke the bed. We get it poppin'.
Yeah, we're the only team that didn't play today. Thursday. Like 2 matches tomorrow. What?
Except for the only team that didn't play.
That's right, that didn't play today.
Mama dear, we're recording! Hello! Don't worry, I already messed up.
I don't really care. I mean,
I think they kind of.
I gave Nick Sloviak a little bit of my snake oils potions.
Lord knows whatever all the concoctions he puts into his crazy drinks, but I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll jump in on the bandwagon and take some of your stuff. And
he kind of reacted a little crazy to it, a little twitchy. It is a little twitchy.
We're talking about going into Mayo. Your first game was.
Your first was something he doesn't remember. He not remember, but
Oh my god! Come on, Cyrus. Try to record it.
Thank you for purchasing this Derder video production. Your support helps us continue to make quality productions. If you pirated this video, then you can suck my balls.